with Ossie and Ruby. Starring Ruby Dee and Ossie Davis, with their very special guest, GIL Scott-HERON and the Midnight Band. This program is made possible by the Program Fund of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, public television stations, and Alcoa, producer of energy-saving, recyclable aluminum.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, say. The agent told me where I'm going. David Kigley got back. The Steelers up there on my TV, and Henry riding in my lap. Said hello Sunday, hello road. Lord, what would my grandma say? To see me out here loving music, so much that I live this way. But then again, she's right here with me, watching every place I go. Yeah, just tell me it was my own. I guess it is. Hello Sunday, hello road. Hello Sunday, hello road.
Mother Music gathered herself up from all over the atmosphere, back up to her rocker, shook her head, wet the tip of her pencil, took out a long yellow pad and said,
"Look ahead at this great long list of the scenes I've made. Calls to battles, calls to the mating bed, calls to dances and to dinners and to bury the dead, calls to bliss, and all through movies to help the story."
But now my body seems sore and ragged. I just feel looted, squeezing myself all over the broadcast waves, feeling myself all poisoned and looted and suited, squeezing through woofers and tweeters and wires and tutors, slithering into pipes, boxes, holes, keys. From now on, I'm going to do just as I please.
I'm going to deepen my dimensions, broaden my territory, make sharing and caring a chart-busting sound. Get off the ground, fly, find some new glory.
Then Mother Music, with a glint in her eye, sprang up in the rocker, patted her hair, brushed off her skirts, and then, determined to be fair, she said,
"I better face all the truths, get some new thinking done, make myself more responsible too, as well as more fun. I know, and I'll begin my campaign through the heart and the mind of that GIL Scott-HERON."
So the manager we had just couldn't manage. So Midnight managed right along. Said it got me out here with my brothers, feeling good, that's the thing that keeps me strong. Said hello Sunday, hello road. Seems like coming up on a town. They got children on their way to Sunday school, and I'm tipping my hat to Miss Chocolate Brown. When it was on a Sunday, I met my old man. I was 26 years old. Now it was too late to speculate. Said hello Sunday, hello road. Hello Sunday, hello road.
"Hello Sunday, hello road, and hello GIL Scott-HERON."
Oh, yes.
Good to see you again after all these years.
Hey, glad to be here.
Long, lean, skinny poet. That's what we thought.
You remember the first time?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
A radio station, a radio show we had.
That's right.
Yes.
And you showed up, you know, loaded down with poetry, looking as long and as lean as you do right now. As a matter of fact, you know, we wondered when we first saw you, and we said, either this brother is a heavy poetic genius, or he is very hungry indeed.
You know, those conditions are not mutually exclusive. You know?
No, we've enjoyed your music and your work for a long time, but it was really a thing that you did in 1978 that really opened our eyes to what a serious artist that you truly are.
What a caring person, if I may quote Lorraine Hansberry. She says, you know, there are those people who care about it all.
And you are one. It was proven in this particular poem, which was written about an incident of police brutality in Houston, Texas. You remember the poem?
Oh, yes, sir. A poem for Jose Campos Torres.
And since we've already rehearsed it, would you mind doing it again?
Love to. Love to. I had said I wasn't going to write no more poems like this. I had confessed to myself all along, tracer of life, poetry trends, that awareness poems that screamed of pain and the origins of pain had blanketed my tablets, and therefore my friends, brothers, sisters, in-laws, outlaws, and besides, they already knew. But Brother Torres, common ancient bloodline Brother Torres, is dead. I said I wasn't going to write no more words down about people kicking us when we're down, about racist dogs that attack us and drive us down, drag us down and beat us down. But the dogs are in the street. The dogs are alive, and the terror in our hearts has scarcely diminished. It has scarcely brought us the comfort we suspected. The recognition of that terror and the screaming release of that recognition has not diminished the certainty of the knowledge. How could it? The dogs, rabid, foaming with the energy of their brutish ignorance, stride the city streets like robot gunslingers as night lamps flash crude reflections from police shields and gun butts. I said I wasn't going to write no more poems like this. But the battlefield has oozed away from the stilted debates of semantics, beyond the questionable flexibility of primal screaming. The reality of our city, jungles, streets, and their Gestapos has become an attack on home, life, family, philosophy, total. It is beyond the question of the advantages of didactic niggerisms. The dogs are in the street. In Houston, maybe someone said Mexicans were the new niggers. In LA, maybe someone said Chicanos were the new niggers. In San Francisco, maybe someone said Asians were the new niggers. Maybe in Philadelphia and North Carolina, they decided they didn't need no new niggers. I said I wasn't going to write no more poems like this, but the dogs are in the street. It's a turnaround world where things are all too quickly turned around. It was turned around so that right looked wrong, turned around so that up looked down, turned around so that those who marched in the street with Bibles and signs of peace became enemies of the state and risked to national security, so that those who questioned the principles of those in authority on justice, liberty, and equality became the vanguard of a communist attack. It became so you couldn't call a spade a spade. Brother Torres is dead. Too many brothers are still incarcerated. Ed Davis, Ronald Reagan, James Hunt, and Frank Rizzo are still alive, and the dogs are in the street. I said I wasn't going to write no more poems like this, but I made a mistake. Welcome the pilgrims into the buffalo that once ruled the plain. Like the vultures circling beneath the dark clouds, looking for the rain. Yes, they've been looking for the rain.
From the Indians who welcomed the pilgrims,
to the buffalo who once ruled the plains,
like vultures circling beneath the dark clouds,
looking for the rain,
looking for the rain, looking for the rain.
From the cities that stagger on the coastlines,
to a nation that just can't stand much more.
Like the forests buried beneath the highways, never had a chance to grow.
Never had a chance to grow.
It's winter.
It's winter.
Winter in America.
Winter in America. And all of the healers have been killed or forced away.
It's winter.
It's winter.
Winter in America.
Winter in America.
And ain't nobody fighting because
nobody knows what to save.
Constitution is a noble piece of paper. With free society it struggled, but they died in vain.
Democracy goes begging on the corner.
Hoping for the rain.
Hoping for the rain.
From the robin perched in the barren treetops, watching last-ditch races marching across the floor.
To the peace signs that melted in our dreams.
Never had a chance to grow.
Never had a chance to grow.
It's winter.
It's winter.
Winter in America.
Winter in America. And all of the healers have been killed or betrayed.
It's winter.
Winter.
Winter in America.
Winter in America.
And ain't nobody fighting because nobody knows what to say.
The Constitution was a noble piece of paper, and with free society we'll struggle, but we died in vain. And now democracy is ragtime on the corner, unemployed, and hoping that it rains. Yes, it's been a hoping for some rain, but it just don't look like rain. I've seen the robins perched in barren treetops, watching last-ditch races marching across the floor. And like peace signs that vanished in our dreams and never had a chance to grow. Well, they never had a chance to grow. Somebody wanna know, tell them it's a winter. Seems like winter in America. Yes, it's a time when all of the healers, brothers who could help us done been killed. They put them in jail. Hey, even though it's something wrong, everybody ought to know winter.
The economy is in an uproar. The whole damn country's in the red. Taxi fares is going up. What? You said Billy Green is dead? The government can't decide on busing. Well, at least that's what they said. Yeah, I heard when you told me. You said Billy Green is dead. But let me tell you about these hot pants that this big-leg sister wore when I partied with the frat boys. You said Billy took an overdose. Well, now, junkies will be junkies. But did you see Gunsmoke last night? Man, they had themselves a shootout, and folks were dying left and right. And at the end, when Matt was cornered, I damn near give up hope. Why you keep on interrupting? You say, my son is taking dope? Call a lawyer, call a doctor. What you mean I shouldn't scream? My only son is on narcotics. Should I stand here like I'm pleased?
Is that familiar, anybody? Check out what's inside your head, because it never seems to matter when it's Billy Green who's dead. And you can depend on the stars and the planets to always tell you the truth. You can depend on the 15th of April tax time, because it always somehow sneaks through. You can depend on the daily papers to always bring you the blues, but don't depend on a train from Washington. It's 100 years overdue. I see people dragging all they own, standing anxious, waiting near the track. I see people a long, long way from home, wondering how they'll ever get back. You can depend on the politician, because they've always got a point of view. They're contemporary court magicians. Sleight of mouth will dazzle you. You can depend on a bad position from them, changes that you've got to go through. But don't depend on a train from Washington, where it's 100 years overdue. I see people on their way to work. I see factories bursting at the seams. I see people listening for a whistle on a train that will carry their dreams. Now, you can depend on folks and gravity, because both of them will bring you down. And you can depend on catching something if there's something going around. You can depend on the first two numbers, but damn if that last one comes through. So don't depend on a train from Washington that's 100 years overdue. You know, looking at you, Gil, beard and all, reminds me of Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass taught us, you know, that without struggle, there's no progress. But here you are, setting the struggle to music. That's something.
Got a lot of help.
Brad, with the things that you've done, the serious subject that you've touched, like apartheid in South Africa, and atomic waste factories in Barnwell, South Carolina, the syphilis experiments on the black men in Tuskegee, and then flaming out of the 60s came that song about revolutions. The revolution will not be televised.
The revolution will not be televised.
I'm asking you if you remember your own song. Well, now, we'd like to help you do that one. Is that all right with you?
I'd like to have you do it.
Okay.
Let's see. You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised.
The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruption.
The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle.
And leading a charge by Attila the Hague, Casper the defensive Weinberger, and George Papa Doc Bush to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary.
The revolution will not be televised.
The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer War Theater and will not star Natalie Wood and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia.
The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal.
The revolution will not get rid of the nubs.
The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner, brother. The revolution will not be televised.
The revolution will not be televised, brother.
There'll be no picture of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block at a dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. And NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on reports from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised.
The revolution will get you more miles to the gallon, even in California. The revolution will work the United way. Black people, how do you spell relief? R-E-V-O-L-T?
Greenacres, the Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will not seem so damn relevant.
And women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane in search for tomorrow because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day.
The revolution will not be televised.
The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Key, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people.
You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, a tiger in your tank, or a giant in your toilet bowl.
The revolution does not go better with Coke.
The revolution will not kill germs that may cause bad breath.
The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised.
Will not be televised.
Will not be televised.
Will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The
revolution will be live.
Brother man nowadays living in the ghetto, where the danger's sure enough real. Well, when he's out late at night, if he's got his head on right, I lay you 95, he's walking with steel. Brother man said he's straight a gangster, messing with people just for fun. Yes, and he don't want to be next, he's got a family to protect. So just last week he bought himself a gun, and everybody got a pistol. Everybody got a 45. Yeah, philosophy seemed to be, at least as near as I can see. When the other folks give up theirs, I'll give up mine. This is a violent civilization. This civilization's where I am. 'Cause every channel that I stop on got a different kind of cop on, and killing them by the millions for Uncle Sam. But Saturday night just ain't that special. Yeah, I got the Constitution on the run. 'Cause even though we've got the right to defend our home, defend our life, got to understand to get it in the hand about the gun. 'Cause everybody got a pistol. seem to be, at least near as I can see. When the other folks give up and give up and give up, I'll give up, I'll give up, say. Saturday night just ain't that special. Freedom to be afraid is all you want. You said you don't want to be next man, have a family to protect. 9 out of 10, you got a friend, you call it gun, 'cause everybody got a pistol. Everybody got a 45, 38, 22, something, yeah. Philosophy seems to be, at least as near as I can see. When the other folks give up and give up and say, it says, right-a-da-da. Everybody got a little right-a-da-da. Yeah, philosophy seems to be, at least near as I can see. When the other folks give up theirs, I give up mine.
Just to look at you, Gil Scott-Heron, people would take you as a perfect example of the angry young generation. But that means that they don't know the other side of Gil Scott-Heron, that side that has to deal with Lady Day and John Coltrane, and is that jazz?
Yes,
Harlem.
watermelons and collard greens and grandma's hands. And,
Bridges,
words.
people to people sharing and caring about things. And certainly you must have a roadmap that runs not only through your music, but through your mind, that goes from one side of the country to the other, all the way from Hello Sunday, Hello Road, back to...
Well, the sweet smell of my lady's love.
That's a line from a composition by Vernon James called Morning Thoughts.
Why don't we do that one?
The sweet smell of my lady's love, her body blending with my own. The time when the world is dark and quiet and we're alone. Near the precipice that separates noise from peace. The hint of an ever-evolving magic, a precious place that combines and still confirms the space, the oneness and the togetherness. There's a morning thought. And still a softer morning in March, a gift for me, from God with a darling face and Papa's eyes and Grandma's grace. How there the light of immortality shines as wondrous, fragile dreams taste light in the slightest breeze for the first time. And morning thoughts then turn to smiles, to love, to sunshine, to all things good, and finally, to good morning.
Morning thoughts are of the storm, lightning flashing through the dawning sky.
Of Grandma's hands and younger days of life's discovery from behind the veil of her guidance. The music that formed our historical biography, descriptive of precious heritage, of aches and frustrations of the city life blues, the threats of violence that provides the atmosphere, and observations from the balcony of a B-movie as though all the world's a stage.
Morning thoughts begin as midnight black gives way to morning cracks of sunshine.
Morning as a new day beginning with all its bright interpretive promise.
Shine down then, sunshine, on Zimbabwe,
Chicago,
and El Salvador,
Los Angeles,
and Namibia,
Dallas,
and Poland,
and New York. Everywhere the man would dare stand up for a change.
We were born at midnight, at the darkest time. But surely the first minute of a new day gives new strength.
Sometime near morning, there's a smile I really need. A chance to gather our love together and describe everything we feel.
Gil Scott-Heron, we not only want to thank you for this program, but all the other fellows who chimed in and gave you a hand, like Larry McDonald on percussion, Kenny Powell on drums, Vernon James on saxophone, Kenneth Sheffield on trumpet, Robert Gordon on bass, Ed Brady on guitar, and Glenn Astro Turner on piano.
On OSSIE, Gil, you know, we can't forget those people that we don't see, like the sound engineer, David McLean, and the light coordinator, Dennis Payton, the stage manager, David Ross, and the road manager, Dennis Heron.
Yes. There's a reggae number that you wrote called Storm Music. Why not use that to just sort of take us on out of here?
And Gil, most of all, thank you.
What's that music? It's playing on the radio. Hey, what's that music? It's playing everywhere I go. And I don't think I've ever heard a sweeter feeling in the whole wide world than that music. It's playing in my heart. Time to time, darkness come along to terrorize the weak and challenge the strong. The storm is coming, it rolls on the waves from Johannesburg to Montego Bay. What's that music playing on the radio? What's that music? Whoa, I hear it everywhere I go. I've never seen another music that make me feel like that music playing in my heart. Go ahead, brother.
This program was made possible by the Program Fund of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, public television stations, and Alcoa, producer of energy-saving, recyclable aluminum.